Welcome back to another episode of Catching Up with Coach. I am Coach Roach. And again, today, even though I did discuss a little bit of this yesterday, I will be talking, of course, tonight. We have the Raptors versus the Lakers. This is a big game. You got two very good teams. Now, the Lakers will be without Luka Doncic and Marcus Smart. Now, not having Luka Doncic certainly is big for the Raptors. But the Raptors are without R.J. Barrett and Jakob Poeltl and Ochai Agbaji tonight. Why is that a problem? Well, we know that the Raptors without Poeltl are basically a team full of guys 6'9" and under. And the Lakers have DeAndre Ayton, Jackson Hayes, Jared Vanderbilt, and of course, that pretty good player named LeBron James. So rebounding tonight, all five guys, quite honestly, is going to be so important without Poeltl in the lineup. I know it's a back-to-back. They want Poeltl to play against Charlotte tomorrow night, which is fair. They want to try to keep him as fresh as possible. And again, you're going to need RJ back soon. We're seeing this team, I think they're 3-3 or 3-2 without RJ Barrett. The loss of his production on the court is noticeable, especially for a guy like Brandon Ingram. Ingram is having to do a bit more. Defenses can collapse on him more. You don't have to, with someone like Jacoby on the floor, he doesn't garner the attention that an RJ Barrett would, or even Grady Dick does not garner the attention that RJ Barrett would. And those guys, quite frankly, they're not as strong going to the hoop as RJ. And let's be fair, too. RJ's shooting, I think, near 35% from three on the year. So with this time away, and I've heard this on other podcasts, too, I think it was Matt Devlin said it, RJ's presence is needed for this team. I think they were 12-5 before he went down. And they're going to need him for this next kind of stretch run when he comes back until about the new year and so on. And I think that will make the game easier for Brandon Ingram, Scotty, and Emmanuel quickly, because those are kind of your big three right now. So big game tonight against the Lakers. I think keys to the game tonight would be half-court execution. So execution of their offense. Let me be clear about that. The Raptors have not executed their offense in the half court very well in the last few games. They did okay against Portland, but when you play the Lakers are a bit different. DeAndre Ayton, he don't play very much defense, but he's still going to be a force on the boards. Jackson Hayes, he's not a bad defender, and he's a really good athlete. So the Raptors are going to have problems with those two tonight. And then, of course, LeBron James. I think Scotty's going to get that assignment tonight. And Scotty's going to have to cross his T's and dot his I's tonight, too, when he's playing. And I think he will, because he's been pretty consistent the whole season. So I think he'll definitely bring it tonight. And I've noticed in the past that he always brings it against the LA teams. So not worried about him tonight, that's for sure. It's going to be tough as well because Austin Reeves, he's a guy, he's streaky shooter. He gets to the hoop. He's kind of sneaky when he gets to the hoop. He has like sneaky strength. Like he's able to angle his body, kind of bounce off guys and throw it at the basket. He's good. I mean, the guy's averaging like over 25 a game on the year. Having a big year for the Los Angeles Lakers. So Austin Reeves will definitely be on the scouting report tonight as a guy who needs to be defended. Of course, LeBron James. LeBron's not going to play a ton of minutes because this ain't LeBron from 10 years ago. He'll play some important minutes, but the Raptors need to take advantage of the LeBron-less minutes when they're on the floor tonight. Rebounding, going to be important. I think as well, outside shooting. Now, these are two teams that don't take a ton of threes. I think I read that the Raptors and the Lakers are 25th and 26th in three-point percentage, I believe. It is, let me check here. 3-point field goal attempts. or make, sorry. So the Raptors make 11.6 threes per game, and the Lakers make 11.6 as well. So they're both basically tied, but they're at the bottom of the league. So this is a team that doesn't shoot a ton of threes. This is one game I really would like to see Grady Dick in to play big time minutes, see if you can get him in rhythm and going, especially without RJ tonight. You need someone who's going to be able to be a shot maker. I heard today that Ingram is not a shot creator; he's a shot maker, and I don't disagree with that actually, because I think he is more of a shot maker. And I want to see a bit more of that from Grady Dick, especially on the bench minutes. So that's going to be essential tonight. How Colin Murray Boyles plays, because he's going to have some big time minutes when he's guarding LeBron James, or if he's guarding Austin Reeves, or if he's going to be out there guarding Ayton. Ayton will be a problem offensively for the Raptors. He always is. He gets the little mid-range jumper. He always tends to play fairly well against us for whatever reason. Defensively, I'm not worried about him. He'll rebound, but he's not going to protect the rim. So big game tonight. Good test for the Raptors to see where this team is at. They have injuries. We got injuries. We're down 2 starters. They're down 1 starter with Luka Doncic. See where it goes from there. The Giannis things, again, keep coming up. Today, I heard a prominent Toronto sportscaster. He made his pitch that he would trade Scotty Barnes for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think that is a discussion that was more back in the summertime. A move like that, I don't know if I would make a ginormous move mid-season, because you're essentially tearing down what you have right now. The Raptors are more or less a top 3, top 4 team in the East, because the East is in flux. There's no team as of now that looks dominant. I like the Knicks. I really like the Knicks and what they could have when they're healthy. Cleveland, I don't understand what's going on there. They got that Portland beat them on a back-to-back. Orlando seems to be picking it up. Atlanta, as I'm going to mention in a second, but in the comments, when you watch this video, would you trade Scotty for Giannis if you can get him? Because obviously the deal would have to be bigger to get a guy like Giannis. It'd have to be Scotty, probably going to be Grady, probably Ochai, and a bunch of picks, right? And the Raptors don't have extra picks, which some teams do. A team like Atlanta has extra picks. A team like San Antonio has extra picks. A team like Memphis has extra picks if they want to use them. And obviously, Oklahoma City, they have everybody's picks. This year they have the Clippers pick, and they have Utah's pick if it falls over the top 8. So the Oklahoma City Thunder could have 2 top 10 picks going into next year if they win the championship as well. Won't matter. Imagine if they had Cam Boozer and Mikel Brown Jr. I don't want to imagine, because that's what dynasties look like. And Sam Presti planned all that out. But in terms of the Raptors and Giannis, look, I don't see Bobby doing that. That would be a move that ownership would first have to approve. And I think that's a move where things would not be going well here. Like, they're doing well just enough to stay afloat, but that's about it. This team is starting to get better. They're a top 5 or 6 defense in the league. I think they're a top 15 offense as of now, but that's why they got to work on their half court. I just don't see the front office with this recent success tearing it down just like that. Even is for someone like Giannis, because it would cost you Scotty. It would cost you Grady and more. You would be mortgaging your future. You have your picks now. You get a pretty good team by the looks of it. You're much better than I thought you were going to be this season. I think I don't see the Raptors front office making that move for Giannis. I do see the Atlanta Hawks. I could see them being in the market for Giannis. There's a lot of ways in which they could do that. They could offer Trae Young. They could offer Zachary Risacher. They got picks. They can offer Milwaukee. That would be enticing. And I think Atlanta has the Pelicans pick of this year, I believe. That would go to Milwaukee because Milwaukee doesn't have any of their picks. Like Milwaukee would have to get picks back because they don't own any of them for the next few years, I think. So that's going to be important with any trade with a superstar like Giannis. Atlanta, Trae Young, Zachary Risache. If I'm Milwaukee, I want Jalen Johnson. No deal unless Jalen Johnson's on the table. I want Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels. If I'm Milwaukee, got to start with them. And then you have to add pieces in there to make the cap work along with picks. I like Trae Young. I'm a big fan of his. But one thing is clear is Atlanta's better without him. And if you get Trae Young and Zachary Risache in Milwaukee, it's not a bad start, but I just think that Jalen Johnson's a blue chip prospect. Jalen Johnson's playing unbelievable this year for Atlanta. You go get Dyson Daniels. You can use him at point. You can use him as off guard. They really like Ryan Rollins. So if you have a team of Ryan Rollins, Dyson Daniels, I guess you can go Gary Trent, Jalen Johnson, insert center, Miles Turner, sure. And then you add picks in there. You're building something. Now, I know you got to make the money work, and I don't have Fanspo up in front of me, but that could be an option. If I'm Milwaukee, any deal involving Atlanta with Giannis, I need Jalen Johnson back, period. End of discussion. The last point I want to make today. Kyle Tucker, as I mentioned yesterday, went to the Dunedin facility went to the Blue Jays complex that's located in Dunedin, Florida. It's pretty famous. It's nice, state of the art. They took Shohei Ohtani there. He went for a visit, took a baseball hat, left, never came back. Okay, but he really liked the place. Juan Soto last year did not visit because I think he and his agent were taking agents and teams to come to him. Okay. Kyle Tucker lives 20 minutes from Dunedin in Tampa. And going to the facility is not much of a drive for him. So apparently, according to Robert Murray, MLB insider, he was there yesterday. Look, if you invite someone there or someone says, hey, I'm coming to the facility, that means you've got interest. And the Jays should have interest in Kyle Tucker. He is the biggest free agent name of this offseason. Had Vladdy gone to free agency, it would have been them 1 and 2. And it's hard to believe that the Blue Jays might end up with Vladdy and maybe Kyle Tucker. And you'd have him for the next 8 to 10 years, probably. That's a left-handed bat and that's a right-handed bat. Rogers is looking to spend money. I don't think they're looking to break the bank, though. I don't see them going Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette. I think it's going to be one or the other. But if there's a couple of narratives right now I've noticed. If Bo Bichette's camp is playing hardball with the Jays saying, no, we want $200+ million for Bo. The Jays might be like, okay, but just know we have Kyle Tucker here visiting the complex. And we're willing maybe to fork out money for him, but we're not willing to give that type of money to you. So it could be a little bit of, you're trying to compete, obviously, and Bo's agent wants, Bo to get a big time extension. But I think this also just is a reminder that the Jays front office is sending to Bo and his camp to say, remember, we got Kyle Tucker here. We're also interested in. So if you come down with your price, maybe we can talk a bit more. Because certainly there are reasons why you should bring back Bo Bichette. But there are also some pretty good reasons why you should try to get Kyle Tucker. If it was me, objectively speaking, I'm taking Kyle Tucker. Why, you might ask? Kyle Tucker, big lefty bat. He's had great numbers his whole career. He's 27 years old. plus runner, plus arm, plus bat. I worry about Bo's mobility moving forward in his career. I think that injury, I worry about what he's going to be like playing shortstop or second base next year. Kyle Tucker's won a World Series before with Houston. I think if you have Kyle Tucker and Vladdy Guerrero 2 and 3 in your order for the next 10 years, you're looking really nice. And look, if we have that, I think the stadium will be packed full of people. Next year, just think about this. George Springer, 1. Kyle Tucker, 2. Vladdy, 3. Probably Barger, 4. Kirky, 5. Santander, 6. Maybe Barshow, 7. Ernie, 8. Jimenez, 9. That's a really tough lineup. Now, I'm not saying with Bo Bichette in there, it's not tough either. But the Jays have been looking for that big lefty bat. And that would be Kyle Tucker. And if you bring in a healthy Santander next year, hopefully he's healthy, you get 25 home runs out of Santander next year, be a plus, because he was hurt all last year, basically. And baseball is very much about money. Money talks in baseball. That's why they might be going to a strike the following year, 2027. Because of all the money that's being thrown around. I think some of the teams that don't spend as much are getting a little aggravated with, like the Dodgers in particular, the Yankees, the Phillies, the Mets, maybe the Jays to a degree. I don't think Rogers is going to spend money like the Dodgers or the New York Mets, but they're opening their pocketbooks. They've been doing that since COVID. Spend a bunch of money on the facility in Dunedin. They spent a bunch of money in AAA on the field in Buffalo during COVID when the Jays were playing on it. They spent like $300 million on renovations at the Rogers Center. They've been going into the luxury tax. I think this year they did. They're spending $200+ million a year. It won't shock me if they go to $300 million this year. If they bring in Kyle Tucker, they're going to have to go to $300 million to open the year. But it's going to be one or the other. Kyle Tucker or Bo Bichette. If it was me, objectively speaking, I'm thinking Kyle Tucker. Because I could put Ernie Clement at second. I could put Andres Jimenez at short, where he should be. Addison Barger goes back to third, which I love. I love having someone with a big arm at third who can throw to first. I can have Kyle Tucker in right field. I can have Varsho in center field. And I can have probably a mixture of Santander and Nathan Lucas in left field. And off your bench, when the lefty's pitching, if you bring in Tucker, obviously he's going to play against left-handed pitchers, but Barger can go to the bench. You can move Ernie Clement to third. You can put Davis Schneider to second. Miles Straw will go to center. Varsho will sit. Anthony Santander can play left field because he's a switch hitter. So you can load up that way too. You have so many options if you sign a Kyle Tucker. I think probably if you want to put the best team on the field, it would be with Kyle Tucker. I think you need another pop in the lineup, which quite frankly, we just didn't have that in the World Series. The Jays were the best hitting team in baseball, but a lot of it was contact. When it gets to the World Series, you need thump. Tucker's pretty good for 25 to 30 home runs a year. He's pretty good for 80 RBIs to like 110 RBIs. He's pretty good to hit like 275, maybe 280. He was hurt second half of the year, but he continued to play. So I'm on the Kyle Tucker train. Nothing against Bo Bichette, but if I have my choice between the two, I'm picking Kyle Tucker over Bo. And I like Bo. And if we bring him back, great. I know I'm probably going to get 280 to 310 batting average. I just worry about the defense, and I worry about his mobility moving forward. Because watching him run the base pass this year, even before he got hurt, you could tell he's slowing down. And to me, that's a little concerning. So, I'm going to end this stream now. Just want to basically catch up on tonight's game, the Raptors and the Lakers, the Giannis sweepstakes, which is going to get interesting throughout the basketball year, and the Kyle Tucker versus Bo Bichette debate. If you have comments, post them in the video. Would love to read them. And please like, comment, subscribe. I'd like to get some more subscribers to this. And please take care. Have a good weekend.